Hey guys, Retro Reviews here again with another Transformers video review. This time I will be taking a look at the finale of the build team. We're going to go into the components for Landfill. And real quick, I did just want to show off this group shot of them all in robot mode, just because I didn't really scale any of them together with each other in their own individual reviews, because I was waiting to do it in this mode. So it would be easiest for me to go over the combination starting in vehicle mode. So now that I've got this group shot done, go ahead and take a look at them in vehicle mode, or put them in vehicle mode and go from there. So give me a second to get them out of the way. And now that they are in alternate modes here, also get a good look at all four of them. Like so. And go ahead and start taking a look at the combinations. So first, the one thing I do need to point out is that this figure has three different configurations for the combination. There's, in Japan, it is called Build King, either Cyclone, Hurricane, or Typhoon, depending on which one is forming the main torso, while the other ones are forming legs. So we'll start off with Build Cyclone, because in both Hasbro and Takara instructions, this one is essentially the first one. In the Hasbro instructions, this is just mode A. But before we get to that, we'll take a look at Landfill here, or not Landfill, but Wedge, and get him prepped. So first thing we'll do is we'll take the treads and separate them, and then take the whole armature section here, rotate it around, but then keep this ball joint going around here, and then these two notches are going to rest into these two sections of the treads. Like so. And then fold this blade down like so. And then take this section and fold it out. Now we're not going to fold the head out yet, even though the instructions are very particular that you do that at this point. But we're going to leave Wedge like this for now. And then we're going to focus on these guys combining. So first we'll go ahead and take Hightower, and we're going to remove this section from Hightower, the whole top section, and then split that down, fold these sections around and down, and we'll take this whole section here and separate it, and then fold out these joints until they're all straightened out to the side. This is a little tight on mine. And hang on. Alright, yep, that was right. And then go ahead and fold what was the feet on Hightower down, like so. and then fold the heel out like so, and then fold this section down like so. And this will be the upper torso and arms to Cyclone mode. And then for Grimlock, what we're just going to do is we're going to take this section off, and then take this section, rotate it out, rotate it this way, and then fold it down a little bit, and then split these pieces open to kind of give him a little bit more of a stable foot to stand on. And then for heavy load, remove his dump bucket, and then fold the feet all the way around like this. And this is kind of weird because I think the Hasbro instructions don't mention this. Yeah, the Hasbro instructions mention this for heavy load, but not for high tower and his foot mode. But you can take this section and fold this down to form a foot. And then rotate this section up. Then rotate it. Then rotate it again. So now each of them are in their own configurations for this mode. And then you just take the male piece and attach it to the female piece of each of them. And then just kind of straighten it up to a little bit so he stands a little bit more a normal stance and not like super heroic A stance. And then just slide that in, and then it all connects together fairly tightly on its own. But then that's where this peg port comes in for Wedge, and he's actually going to combine to this in two ways. So one, we're going to get the camera up a little bit higher so we can see this going on. And he does need to go in at a 45-degree angle, because the way this is set up is that there's teeth here and then there's grooves here in the spaces that were made from the combiner port. Which I just realized I need to move this piece around to give Grimlock an actual knee. So there we go. So anyways, so that will go ahead and go in at a 45-degree angle. But then also these two pegs here are going to clip into the two larger holes, or the larger hole on this side and then the hole on this side on high tower. So you clip it in sideways, rotate it up until you got it lined up, and then snap those together. And you can kind of fold the arms forward, get those positioned however you'd like. And then take the head and fold it out. And then finally, it's just a matter of putting the parts back on. And this is also why I'm using the Takara instructions to verify my work, because for the longest time I've had the Hasbro instructions that have been omitting parts, and this is another one of those times. So, now granted, there's pretty much no other use for this peg hole in any of Hightower's other modes. So it's only used for in here. So we'll take this front section, or the top section of Hightower's vehicle mode, fold the crane back. And now plug that in behind Landfill's head. And then take this piece. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to take the wheel here on Hightower, fold that around. And then this hole is going to peg into the peg that was exposed here on the wheel. Like so. And then the shovel scoop is just going to peg in on the bottom of the hand is a hole, and that's where that's going to peg in. Like so. So there is Landfill in his Cyclone mode, as was coined by the Japanese line. And honestly, this is one of my least favorite modes. I'm a little bit biased towards, I think it's Typhoon mode. No, that would be Hurricane mode. Typhoon mode is heavy load as the torso. But because of how well balanced it is, I do really prefer the Hurricane mode. So with Grimlock as the torso, and then Hightower and Heavy Load as limbs. So Articulation is pretty decent for a combiner, especially one as uniquely combined as this. If you hear any rattling in the back, I think my cats are trying to get into their cat bowl, or their cat bag, their bag of cat food, because for some reason they have food in their bowl, but they're going for the bag itself instead. And making a lot of loud rattling noise. So, anyways, before I forget, I do want to take a look at the head sculpt. And yeah, really nice head sculpt. And even nicer is the fact that, albeit he has really tiny ports in the back of his head, he can do light piping. There we go. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is the only new mold figure, the only new mold head out of this entire line that actually has light piping. So, and then the design of Landfill's head itself is a culmination of all of the components that we saw throughout the rest of the other build team guys. So we're seeing wheels, we're seeing shovels, we're seeing canopies, we're seeing weird light things, we're seeing grills, and it's all asymmetrical, as you can tell. So lot of weird things going on with it. Anyways, back onto the articulation. He does have swivel in the neck for 360-degree rotation, as well as in this mode he has ball jointed shoulders, as well as the knee joint for Hightower incorporated as his elbow. Due to the transformation, no real waist articulation, but if we come down here, we can use the stem that the combiner connector is connected onto, and we can actually rotate that sideways and out to get a backward swing leg motion, as well as outward, but really not then forward. But he does have another joint here, really tight on Grimlock, like almost immovable on Grimlock. So let's try it on heavy load. That, yeah, there. He can have a knee. How many other combiners do you know that can actually use their knees? Pre-combiner wars, at least. Now, come on. That's just cheating if we bring combiner wars in. So there is hurricane mode, or cyclone mode. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at hurricane mode. So go ahead and get everything ready off camera here. Alright, and for the final time tonight here, I went ahead and combined them together because we've seen both of them as legs before now, so nothing really new for that. They're just legs. Now Grimlock here is going to have quite the different transformation. So give me a second here. Now we're going to go ahead and leave the thing off, this piece off, and we're going to start with him in this mode. And this is going to get a little weird. So we're going to go ahead, start by rotating this piece around, splitting these out, as well as folding this down so it's kind of just out of the way for right now. So getting these whole leg armatures extended out all the way is how we're going to start. And then we're going to need to rotate them like this, 90 degrees, and then fold them back in so that way they're sitting flush against the back. And I forgot, first we're going to need to take this piece, fold this piece out, fold his head out. So unfortunately there's no way around it. He's just sticking his head straight up out at all times. Or actually, no. I forgot, for the Japanese instructions, you do fold the head, rotate the head around, so instead of sticking straight up, it's sticking straight down. And I'll just kind of get the legs out of the way for right now. Get these arm sections out of the way. And then do the terrifying split again. But this time, after they're split, go ahead and rotate this up. And then that kind of just sits like that, I think, or like that, I guess. I don't know. These instructions are really hard to read. Just really, really weird on what to do with these arms. So they're saying that at this point, when it's out here like this, or when it's getting folded out like this, you're wanting to have the ball joint stood out. And then, yeah, so then it's just going to fold up like this. So that's that arm. And then this arm is just folded up like this, so that's looking like that. And then get these guys folded around and get that guy clipped back into place. And rotate these up so they're at a 45-degree angle, and then 45-degree angle there. And rotate it around to form an arm, which then we can extend that out and fold that open to make it a hand claw thing. As well as do the same on this arm. and like that. So then we'll go ahead and connect that onto the others. Or we'll just get this down out of the way for right now until we get landfill in place. Wedge in place, I mean. So then there's that. And now finally, this one is a little bit different. It still goes in at the 45 angle and then twists up. But instead of using these two pegs, you're using this hole. And that's connecting to this peg right here. So then that will peg all together. And then just get these arms positioned back the way they're supposed to. You can get them in as close as you want to the body. It doesn't matter, it's just a matter of just getting them where they're supposed to so it looks right. And then I think over the years that peg hole has actually worn down, so that's making it a little bit more difficult to peg the body sections together. But anyways, there we go. And now getting the weapon bits added on. We'll take this peg here on heavy loads bucket, and that will plug into a hole on the back of the arm. And then this one I find really cool is how it utilizes Grimlock's hand for this, and this is also why I like Grimlock being the base for the upper torso and arms, is because there's two holes on the bottoms, one on each of these little clamps. So you take the peg and plug it into that hole, and then you close the clamps up around, and then with the joint that is in there with the weapon, and it makes it so that you can stick it out straight. And then finally, take this piece, rotate that all the way back, like this. And then how we did before, this is why I did this, because in the Japanese instructions, again, omitting from Hasbro stuff, when you turn Grimlock's head around, there is a screw hole that is exposed in the back of his head, which just so happens to be the same size as the peg that connects that in. So here is Landfill in my preferred configuration. Type B in the Hasbro instructions, or build Cyclone or build Hurricane in Japan. So that's my preferred way of having him. Now you can have him in any one of the other ways. It's just this is the way I like to have him. Now for posability, nothing's really changed with the legs. They're the same legs that we've seen before. Now it just utilizes the ball joints in Grimlock's legs as shoulders and elbows. So there's that. Now, to show him off compared to, I guess, what we've showed him off before with Sideburn, as you can see now that he's combined, he does kind of, as he's supposed to, does fill up a little bit bigger. And we'll go ahead and bring in the standard body of Optimus. and make sure he's in frame. Then we can get a good look. Yeah, they're about scaled with each other. All of the combiners seem really small in this toy line. I feel like if, even with Runition, if he was bumped up to at least a 10% size hike, it would be a lot better. Like, I don't know. If you were to make all of these guys Mega Class, it would be expensive to buy compared to what they are now, but, or what they were before at least, but if they were all exploded up to a Mega Class figure, then I feel like the scale would be more perfect. But as it stands, each of them being a deluxe class figure, this is a very fun and very affordable combination. Like I mentioned, this was the only combination for probably about 10 years after I got, or that I managed to complete, thanks to a secondhand store getting me a Superion Maximus from Energon. And now to show off with the rest of the combiners in the line, if I could get them all in frame, and if Rail Racer's wonky legs are going to help support him. And finally, we'll just put Bruticus back in the back. So there you can see how Landfill stacks next to the other combiners. Pretty much the same size as the other two. Now, I feel cohesively, Rail Racer is the best out of the three. But for overall fun factor, I feel like Landfill definitely wins that aspect. Bruticus, or Runition, just being a Bruticus recolor, he does fall a little flat on everything else just due to the fact that, it's a 15, at this time it was a 15-year-old mold. So there's a lot less for it to be expected to do. So out of the three, I really feel like Landfill, or Rail Racer is the best, Landfill is second, and Runition is third. So that being said, this video is about Landfill. He does have the most playability out of any of the others. He does the thing with his combination is the most unique combination sequence that I have ever seen. And that is reaching out as far as to some of the Brave series figures. They've had some pretty neat combinations as well. But like Tripredicus and Magnaboss, they have some pretty decent combinations as well from the Beast Wars series, but honestly, nothing, in my opinion, can be any more unique or creative as Landfill's combination sequence, just due to the fact that everything combines with, like, the three bigger sections combine in a way that I have never seen before, where you have these three separate armatures that stick out, and then you can combine them and then get any one of the three combinations done. But yeah, honestly, I can think that Landfill has a lot of playability, but for overall cohesion, Rail Racer is the best of the bunch. And even in 2001 standards, this is a pretty expensive shot being taken right now. Although, so I think, yeah, the trains were all megas, so these were $20 each. So Rail Racer would have been $60. Landfill would have only been $40 since he's 4 deluxes at $10 a piece. And Runition with 4 basics at $7 and a deluxe at $10. So $38. So I guess I guess he is the cheapest of the three. Runition would be, but he's also the oldest. And he does less, so that makes more sense. But yeah, anyways, Landfill, definite pickup if you're interested in the Robots in Disguise line. Just a very fun one to play with, and surprisingly held together as long as it did in my collection all these years. So, anyways, that's about it. That's all I really have to say with Landfill. And I hope you guys like this video review, and I will see you next time. Bye.